Hello, everybody. This is episode 97, talking about 5 quick tips to solve an argument immediately. Hello, everybody. This is Anita. Another person here. He's another host. His name is Eric.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Taiwanica Podcast. We have a really fun, exciting episode for you today that's going to be talking about ways to make it really easy for you to get out of a fight, which I'm sure if you are listening to this, you've been in a relationship before and you know what it's like to be in a fight. I think we both know that very well.
Why are you looking at me like that?
I love you. But
you, though.
You are brutal. So the thing about these exercises that we're going to show you is that they're just simple verbal statements that change the way that you are able to start looking at your conversation from a different angle from what you've done before. You probably have done some of these, honestly, but just think about these exercises as very simple ways for you to open yourself up to the idea that instead of just keep on defending what you think or going on the offense of saying what they said was wrong, you're opening your ideas to saying, well, maybe, if I just listen to the other person and show them that I am willing to take on whatever it is that they are trying to share with me, then there's actually a much higher chance that they're also going to trust you more. So they will do the things that you actually want you want them to do. So this is something that we've learned in our own relationship and through teaching it to other people, and the evidence is just abundant of how great this works. When you say,
yes. So I was just thinking, argument is actually coming from it's an outcome of conflict. So it must be something, you are saying one thing, the other person is saying the other thing. And you guys are just like, come on, I was talking about this one. Why are you talking about that one? So it's like, no, this is what I'm talking about. So they start to, generate more tension inside the conversation. So conflict is actually very simple. It's just two people in the same situation, but they look at the things from a very different angle. So it's, so it's just, they will exaggerate what's their point. So argument is very, very easy to solve because I believe arguments is one way to learn about each other and sometimes maybe learn about yourself as well.
Absolutely. Well, wonderful way to explain arguments. So before we dive into the actual content, we have one thing that we want to let everyone know about that's been happening and in the development here at Start Now in Taiwanica is our event that Anita is actually going to be hosting. It's a very exciting event where, to give a little brief view from what I know about it, is Anita is basically going to be giving us an introduction on how we can combine outer beauty with inner confidence. And so I'm very interested to know more about this, and I'm sure you are too. So we're going to have a brief introduction of that before we dive into today's content. Anita?
Well, it's just, a lot of people are worrying about what they look like on the outside, but it's not just one way. People will always thinking about, oh, I'm not happy about my face, maybe it's too puffy or whatever other things, situation. And so that we go on and buy those expensive skincare products, so on and so forth. And some people might even taking it to the next level, doing some surgery to make them look like the way they want it to look like. But if you really look at this issue, maybe sometimes the deeper root is inside. So that's why I was introducing this class to a very simple method. Everybody can do it with your hands to massage your face with a very simple and natural ingredient skincare product. And in the class, because each class is 80 minutes, so we definitely have enough time to do massage sessions, and we talk about something that's deeper inside of you. Discover your light, because that's what we all are. Like if you think about us, the beauty is light. So the class is called Radiant You. So we are going to discover the inner light and let it shine from within, and then you will look, beautiful. Because everybody, it is beautiful. You just have to see it yourself first.
That's great. So it sounds like to me that essentially the class is targeted towards anybody, but you have a sense of trying to help people who are already doing products on their face to find a more simple way of doing that. And while learning this, you're going to teach some techniques that you have learned yourself about how to make yourself feel internally beautiful at the same time. And so it's kind of like a two bird, one stone class where you're going to improve your mindset of loving yourself while also taking care of your skin.
Yep.
Well, it sounds great. When is that starting?
It starts in September. The class will be on September 9th.
Yes, September
Tuesday.
9th. On Tuesdays.
All the classes will be online. So don't worry about, where you are, where your location is. Just, open your computer, log in. You will be able to join the class. We'll
have more information in the link description down below. So if you want to check that out, that's on our personal website of ericandAnita.com/glow. So it's going to be a wonderful event. We hope that you can join us. There's only a few spaces left. We've already had people purchase. So if you want to get in now. There's also a early bird coupon still. I think that's for just a few more days. So if you're hearing this when the podcast episode just came out, definitely grab onto it while you can.
Okay.
All right. So let's go ahead and dive into today's episode. The way it's going to work today is I'm going to do the first three. And then after that, Anita's going to do the last two. So, if you're writing stuff down, make sure you go at rapid speed because I'm going to whip these out real quick. So let's go ahead. We're not whipping anything else out, Anita. Don't make that face like you want to see something else whip out. All right. Number one. So number one is I agree. Okay. So this phrase, I agree. What does this mean here? Well, in reality, when you say the word I agree, for most people, when they hear the first thing that comes into their ears, they're thinking, oh, whatever they just said, I'm either on the offense or defense, or I agree with what they just said. So when this is happening inside of your mind, we have to understand that there is a greater goal here beyond what was just said. So let's just say, for example, I said to Anita, I really don't think we should go out today. I'm tired. And then she would say, well, we haven't gone out for the last 3 days.
To do the voice.
Okay.
I would really appreciate that.
I thought I was really good at it.
No, not.
Okay, my bad. So you haven't gone out for the last 3 days. I'm kind of still doing it. My bad. But I really want to go out. And so I would say, I agree. But what am I agreeing to here? You have to really look at it closely because in reality, I am just agreeing to Anita's frustration. I'm agreeing to Anita's annoyance that it's annoying to stay home for the last 3 days and not go out. That's what I'm agreeing to. So in the holistic point of view, you can still agree to something, but still hold your point of view that you don't want to do something. So if you start doing this by agreeing to the main goal here, and that is to have equality and try to find acceptance between the 2 points, then the other person who is having this argument with you will quickly understand that you're not trying to just say no to them. You're not trying to shut them down. You're trying to say, hey, I agree with what you want, but I still have this point of view. The other person's going to start seeing it instead of this fight. You're like, oh, okay. So you're not actually mad at me. You're just actually wanting to do your own thing because you're tired. And so I'm getting out of my own head now, and I'm able to see exactly what it is that you want instead of just me trying to hold on to what I want. So that's the idea of I agree.
Right.
Do you agree?
I do.
Excellent.
Because I feel like if I heard someone say I agree, I feel like my feeling was recognized. It's not, instead of just the other person trying to go and do things in his way and dismiss my feeling and
his way.
What did I say?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Dismiss my feeling or my need or everything. So when you say I agree, I was actually coming down and give me a chance to listen to you as well.
Absolutely. Well, these are the secrets that we have in our relationship. So hopefully we can still use them after this podcast episode because they're very, very powerful. So let's go ahead and dive into number two. Now, this is something that you will hear in therapy all the time, and that is don't use you statements like you did this to me. It's your fault. I can't believe you did that. Use I statements.
Okay.
So I feel like this is how it should go. I feel hurt. I need you to help me with this. Okay. Using the word I first will help the person understand that you're not attacking. You are just saying, this is me. This is what I'm going through right now. I am not trying to push you in any sort of direction. I'm just saying, this is what's going on with me. So let's say, for example, because Anita and I, we have very different personalities, and yet we're married, we have a kid together, and the big thing that we usually fight about is the way that we want to spend our free time. Anita loves to go out, like I just mentioned a minute ago, and I really like to stay home. And so when it's the weekend, there's this feeling of, ooh, well, I guess it's time to do something. So what is it going to be? Eric here wants to stay in the basement and do nothing and watch TV or like do meditation or yoga. And Anita's like, let's go out in the sun. And this is a great thing because she has taught me to get out of the cave and go outside. But sometimes I feel like I really don't want to do that. So I would say to her, honey, I know how you would like to spend the weekend, but I would really like to stay home today because I feel really tired and I would really like to have some privacy or some personal time just with you guys. So instead of saying, on the other hand, I don't want to go, you always want to go out, you always want to go do things, and you want to just like go and spend so much energy and money outside, and you always make me feel tired. You know, same exact conversation, but the other
life will end immediately.
Yes, and just might as well pull an axe.
Yeah, I'll just bury you on the basement. You want to stay in the basement? Let's bury you in the basement.
Okay, I was going to say an axe, but I guess we're turning that into a shovel. Okay, and I'm just burying myself down the ground.
To the ground.
Okay, so that's the idea here. So be honest with how you feel is number 2. Say it with I. Don't say it about the other person because in the end of the day, you don't know what the other person's thinking. You might have an idea because you've been with them a lot of times, but in reality, at that specific moment, you don't know. So don't assume, because if you assume, it's going to cause you a lot of trouble. Yes. So that's number 2.
Number 3.
No comment about number 2.
Number 2 is good.
Okay, good. We got wife approval, everybody. So on your lady side, you got this. Okay, so number 3, don't make the whole conversation about you. Straight and simple. Don't keep on talking about I. If you start using I, don't just keep using it like
sentences.
Seriously, like a machine gun just going off. Like it's
so annoying.
Like we don't need to do it like that. Okay.
Sorry, I feel like you're annoying.
Okay. Well, thank you for telling me how you feel. I agree. Okay. But the thing here is when you're talking about yourself, you got to mix it up. You got to make sure that you're listening. Very crucial about what the other person is saying. And a really good tip here is if you're having an argument with somebody and you want to make sure that they feel like you heard them, just simply recognize some of the words that they said. So they tell you something. Let's just say Anita tells me something right now.
I feel like I'm fat. I'm ugly. And look at my hair. They're ridiculous.
Okay, so you feel fat, ugly, and your hair looks ridiculous?
Yes.
Okay. So just like that, right here, I acknowledge the last 3 things that she said. And, you know, honey, you look great, by the way. And you're not fat. You're so skinny. Please, everyone who's watching the video, send a million comments on our Instagram telling how skinny she is. Good God. And so in this situation, all I did was repeat back to what she said. I'm listening, but I want her to know that I'm listening. She knows I have ears. She knows that when she says words that they can come into my ears and go into my brain. But the whole point is that am I here or am I in La La Land? And filtering it through and thinking about a football game or, you know, something like that instead. For you to say it back, they feel recognized. Most important thing in an argument. Recognition means there's going to be less confrontation and more openness. And then the ultimate goal, trust. So when you start applying these three things, just these three things alone, you'll start to see significant changes. But guess what? We have more. Anita's got two more.
Yes. So as we mentioned about things about argument, as we have our assumptions and we are just trying to let each other hear what we wanted to say, right? That's what we do. And Eric just shared those three things. He actually demonstrates a really good way to establish a safe space for each other to step in instead of just, separate the two, trying to win an argument, try to prove the point, so on and so forth. So the number 4 tip, that is, stay curious instead of judging. Because most of the time, you're like, what? Why you want to stay at home? It's like the weather is so good, and you don't want to go out. It's like, why you're so weird? Everybody was going out during the weekends and it's supposed to be this way. I'm going in my own self, my space to thinking about this situation. But instead of saying that, you can say, why don't you want to go out? Ask questions, stay curious, because curious is the way to learn for everything, right? Like, why is the apple falling from the tree, right? And then discover the gravity, just an example.
So philosophical.
But in the relationship, it's the same. Like I said, we all grew up in a very, very different family backgrounds, societal settings, whatever. So, but the simple things like this, it can trigger so many different possibilities that you have never seen yourself, right? So instead of sustaining, the judgy point of view, ask a curious questions like, oh, I really wanted to know, because just like what Eric said, the fundamental goal here is to trust, to know, and to understand, right? So instead of judgy, you're just gonna stay in your own mind. And if you don't get what you want, you're just gonna pound like a little kid, without any candy, and you just get mad. And what you do, you go out and buy your friends and complain about your husband or your wife, right? It feels great. Don't get me wrong, it feels great. It's just talking about this, but it didn't solve any problems, and the relationship is not growing. Number 5 is you have to stay open-minded. Like I said, without judging, and then you move to the next one. When you actually asking the questions like, why don't you want to go out? The weather is so nice and it's weekend, And when the other person was telling the story of their version, you have to stay open-minded, right? You ask the question, you also are ready to receive the answer. So that will be the way. So, okay, then you start to get clarity about this situation. Instead of seeing it as your husband saying no to your idea, you might actually find a solution. Maybe we can stay home during the daytime. If you think it's too hot outside, maybe we can go on, to a coffee shop. They can, watch a night view or something like that. So you actually know about like each other, and you actually find a solution. And those solutions are agreements. So the agreements are the way that you guys can move on, and those are sparks, So we usually say like in the relationship, but two people staying for too long, we just kind of like stale the relationship because we didn't give it a chance to teach us new things. But this, every time an argument showed up, is an opportunity, is a wonderful, wonderful chance for you to know each other deeper. And on the other hand, it's also like in a different time of your life, they also have different things they wanted to do, right? For example, like when we were younger, we always go out during the nighttime until like, drinking beer or whatever. But now we both don't want to do it, right? So every stage of your relationship is staying open-minded without judging, but stay curious. It's going to be the way to let this relationship thrive.
It sounds good. So it sounds like step 4 and step 5, 4 and 5 are pretty much intertwined.
Yeah.
That's good. So if you're not judgmental and you don't have any previous judgments on somebody, then you're capable of seeing new things in a whole new light all the time. I'd say that's a very powerful act of love.
Right.
What can you say?
Yeah, because I feel like sometimes when we end up in a in the conversation or the argument, is that I always thinking about this way, and you always this way. You also feel lonely. Feels like you are the only one who's taking on the responsibilities. You're the only one who's taking care of this kind of situation. But once you give each other a chance to talk about different point of views, and right, you are not alone anymore. You are each other helping each other, understanding something about us and about ourselves as well.
Well, very cool. Well, I think it's a very good way to end today's conversation. So what do you think? Did you think that these 5 tips were helpful? Definitely give them a try. If you do try them and you found them to be successful and your relationship was improved, you can send us your therapy session bill. Or you could just like us and just give us a 5-star on Apple Podcast. And above all that, check out our information on Instagram. We're always putting up new things over there. Right now, we're doing it as individual coaches. If you want to know more about that, check in the link description below. And like I said, if you want to check out the video version of this, if you're listening on any of the podcast channels, we have these secretly available only in one place, and that is on Buy Me a Coffee. Buy is like you buy me because I want coffee. Coffee.com/Taiwanica. You type that in, you'll find it there. And we have some other secret stuff. If you join as a member, which only costs like, I think $3, you'll be able to see all of the other really personal and very embarrassing stories that we've put on there. So definitely check it out.
Teacher.
Yes.
How many E's in coffee?
How many E's in coffee? Well, if you need to answer that, then you probably should stop drinking coffee, Anita. There are 2 E's. Okay. All right. So
Keep answering the question.
You're welcome. So like, subscribe. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. If you really enjoyed it, then if you can be one of the very few people who can give us a 5-star review and even tell us about what you liked about the podcast, that would be great if you can do that in the place where you're listening. 谢谢大家。如果你真的很喜欢今天的 podcast 的话，请你们给我们5颗星。这个会让更多人越来越了解台湾要给什么的资料，让他们的生活越来越顺利。感谢。